Well, finally, MSNBC is covering this story. The 12th of March, Rachel Maddow Show, MSNBC. Oil companies dumping radioactive waste in North Dakota. Oil companies dumping radioactive waste in North Dakota. I won't, of course, play it for reasons of copyright and respect and self-protection. However, you can. You'll come right there. We'll look at this. Don Morrison of the Dakota Research Council talks with Rachel Maddow about the challenge of holding oil companies responsible for pollution in North Dakota. This piece was reprinted by Truth Out without permission or license. However, I'm operating under fair use, so I won't go further with it. Oh, by the way, please sign this petition from CARE2. Stop coyote killing contests and protect wolves in Washington. All right, we'll go onward. What about the waste in North Dakota? Well, this story was dated the 25th, but I really even wasn't familiar with it. We've had so much to pay attention to. From www.twincities.com, Pioneer Press, Amy Dalrymple with the Forum News Service. From Watford City, North Dakota. Listen, where's Watford City, North Dakota? It's right here. It's right here. In Google Earth. It's, not too far from the Montana border, northwestern North Dakota. Officials in Watford City, North Dakota, have been calling on the state to take action after a stockpile of oil-filled waste was discovered in rural McKenzie County, dripping crude oil and other contaminants onto the ground. Other contaminants, that's radioactive contaminants. If you look at that picture, it looks like death. Things nuclear to me, in the spiritual eye, always look like death. It says filter socks, which look like large tube socks and are used in salt water disposal wells to filter out the solids, contain naturally occurring radioactive material. Now, it's subject to question. Hopefully, this is the golden opportunity for the state to stand up and set a precedent that this will not be tolerated, said Rick Schreiber, director of the McKenzie County Solid Waste Department. Let people know that enough is enough. Schreiber reported the waste to state officials last week after a neighboring resident sent him photos of the waste, known as filter socks, piled onto flatbed trailers in rural McKenzie County. Filter socks, which look like large tube socks, anyway, this is a bit redundant, but they contain naturally occurring radioactive material. The waste cannot be accepted at municipal landfills, and it often contains radiation levels that require it to be hauled out of state. The North Dakota Department of Health is investigating and could assess fines as a result of the investigation, said Scott Radig, director of the Division of Solid Waste. That's just one story. This story from March 11, and this is from the BismarckTribune.com. BismarckTribune.com, associated with Back in Oil Industries, actually. Probably bought out. Sorry. Hope I don't get slapped for that. Radioactive dump site found in remote North Dakota town. Noonan. Tiny remote town of Noonan in Divide County. Where is Noonan? Noonan's right here, north of Watford City. By Lauren Donovan, March 11th. Police and state health officials are investigating the illegal dumping of radio filter socks in an abandoned gas station in the tiny remote town of Noonan in Divide County. There's a vacant building filled with toxic waste, said Divide County Sheriff's Deputy Zach Schroeder, lead investigator, who says the building's apparent owner is a fugitive on felony larceny charges in Wyoming and so far not traceable. The building's contents were reported 2 weeks ago to the Divide County Emergency Manager, Jody Gunlock, who said the situation was turned over to the State Health Department and Divide County law enforcement. This showing the inside of the gas station that contains an estimated 200 industrial-sized garbage bags, I'm sure that's meant to be, full of radioactive filter socks. Radioactive filter socks, a waste byproduct of oil production. The situation's under investigation, and officials are taking some steps to secure the building, right in the middle of a small town. There are more photos. Schroeder said 6 separate rooms in the old mobile gas station contain industrial-sized black garbage bags full of filter socks. He estimates at least 200 bags or more are piled into the dirt floor structures born of rooms. Okay, there's more. This story is well done. I recommend you come and read her work. Noonan mayor angry over situation with radioactive filter socks. Right here in the middle of this little town. In sweet little North Dakota. Says the residents of Noonan, population 120, don't have information, and said it's likely that whoever dumped the garbage bags did so under cover of darkness. This is so beyond despicable. Gunlock said the building may be fenced off to prevent anyone from entering the property, and the deputy said he planned to surround it with crime scene tape. The bags were dust-covered and may have been there for some time, though it's hard to tell how long. I don't think this is ignorance. This was ignorance, just deliberate, Gunlock said. Gunlock said tests done last week on the materials show it's low-level. There's no such thing as low-level nuclear waste, folks. Low-level radium that emits big, weak particles that don't penetrate skin but would be hazardous to inhale or ingest. Where is it? Right in the middle of this small town. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is redundant, but I just want you to bookmark it and read it. www.newyorktimes.com. This is prior to the nuclear event at CARLSBAD, which, by the way, is still poisoning us all. Nuclear waste solutions seen in desert salt beds by the New York Times. Here's a slideshow. Deep in the New Mexico desert, a home for nuclear waste. This is interesting just in terms of historically interesting. It's by Marco Stravato. Half a mile beneath the desert surface in thick salt beds left behind by seas that dried up hundreds of millions of years ago, the Department of Energy is carving out rooms as long as football fields and cramming them floor to ceiling with barrels and boxes of nuclear waste. This is worth archiving just for historical purposes. It's assuming we live very long with all of the contamination we're being subjected to. These are salt beds. What do we know about salt beds? What do we know about bayou corn? Salt beds. Here's salt beds again, which have the consistency of crumbly rocks so far down in the earth, are what the federal government sees as a natural sealant, really, for the radioactive material left over from making nuclear weapons. Well, now we know it wasn't a sealant, was it? Right here they state, just in case you're questioning, just for the record, the process is deceptively simple. Plutonium waste from Los Alamos National Laboratory and a variety of defense projects is packed into holes bored in the walls of rooms carved from salt. At a rate of 6 inches a year, the salt closes in on the waste and encapsulates it for what engineers say will be millions of years. It's eternity, said Dirk Roberson, a guide for the frequent tours the Energy Department gives to visitors to the salt mine, who leave with a souvenir plastic bag filled with chunks of salt pressed into rock-like form. Guess what? Johnny and Tammy are going home with souvenir plastic bags filled with radioactive salt. There's a picture of WIP. What is that, folks? WIP, Waste Isolation Pilot Plant. Notice how euphemistically named these things always are? And remember, this article is from February 9th, prior to the blow-up of everything. And, you know, it's this article is just highly bizarre and disturbing, because it's the way it's written is that salt is a natural geological repository, and it's just something the Earth has given us. Oh, wait. By the way, though, the salt behaves strangely around nuclear waste, which is warm to the touch. When the waste is buried in salt, tiny bits of water inside the salt start to move toward the heat. As a result, the salt left behind is stronger, like a good sealant. But it's still basically salt. Oh, wait, it's radioactive salt. Oh, my God. WIP was seen as a boon for the area. And Reverend, pay attention, Reverend David Wilson Rogers, this is a pastor, Reverend David Wilson Rogers of the First Christian Church, Disciples of Christ in Carlsbad, said, "This facility has the opportunity to give a blessing to the world by having a safe repository." Is he still saying that now, that WIP is poisoning the world? I'm going to close with a look at Energy Solutions. We've been here before. Energy Solutions, www.ENERGYSOLUTIONS.com. Zion Solutions, a powerful transformation. You can come here and read all about Energy Solutions. I just showed you a video half an hour ago that I made about transportation of nuclear waste, and Kevin Blanche has just done a story today about Energy Solutions hauling this crap down your roads. Here's their mission and their values: business units, contract vehicles, community. Look where they are, all over the world. Projects, current projects. Utilizing our expertise to reclaim the site of a shut-down nuclear power plant years ahead of schedule. That's what this picture of. There's an image gallery. Lots of, by the way, let me remind you, LDS church-owned company, staffed by LDS businessmen. Although it's now going private, by the way. It's becoming a private company. Whatever that means, let's look at a couple projects. And then I'll have to stop because I'm running out of time. Zion Nuclear Station decommissioning. This is in Chicago, on the banks of Lake Michigan. Here's another one. Oh, look, Fukushima Daiichi. Energy Solutions has been selected by Toshiba Corporation as the technology provider for the cleanup of the large volume of radioactively contaminated water at Fukushima. I've said enough. This is Two Wolves Out. And thank you for watching. Mitakuye-oyasin. I don't know how to say we are all radioactive in Lakota, but Mitakuye-oyasin means we're all related.